Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime Symbol, and today I'm going to be giving you part 3 of What If Naruto Had the adapting ability like Doomsday. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends on your social media platform, and also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the new series What If Naruto Became the Leader of the 7 Deadly Sins over on Anime King 2. Link will be down in the description, so go ahead and check out the other channels if you're new. Yes, I need a 4 of them which I post What If on every single day for you guys to enjoy, so go ahead and smash that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Don't forget to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado or wasting more time, let's jump right into this, shall we? Begin now, guys. So, the last spot we left off, a massive explosion took Naruto down. Even one of his arms were blown off in the process, as he was left down on the ground. The ninjas that were after their client started to encroach around him, as one of them stepped forward, only for Naruto to end that ninja easily, as he had gone to his feet. However, that was just a burst of energy, and he could no longer sustain it. He was going to be cut down right here and now. However, the heads of the ninjas went off as Zabuza intervened, saving Naruto's life. Naruto looked at him for a moment before passing out. He was brought back to the location where Haku was, as Haku had told the client to go in a cave, while she picked off every single ninja that tried to go inside and take him down. It was a good strategy, and they were out of ninjas for the time being. However, when she saw Naruto, she froze up, feeling strange. Feelings that she is trying to push away for the longest time after what happened to her, within Kiri returning at full force. The client said that they should just go. She almost killed the man if it wasn't for Zabuza. However, to their shock and relief, Naruto started to heal rapidly. Yes, muscles, tissues, and bones, as his arms started to regroup. All the burn damage, everything started to heal at a rapid pace. His skin even got far stronger and hardened even more. It was rather shocking to them all. When Naruto finally came to, his attitude did not change though, as him and Zabuza were still cursing at one another. Haku was happy though, immensely so, to see that he was alright and everything was okay. For the rest of the time, they continued on with their mission as they guarded the client. It turns out that he had the information that they need in his head, and some people were after him. He wasn't a good guy either, but they did not really care. It was their mission to do this. So with that, they made their way, as Naruto could smell them and hear them as well, as Haku quickly created a mirror and pushed the client and herself through, taking him away. Both Naruto and Zabuza then split up as they went after the enemy. It was a lot of them. However, Naruto had adapted to the explosions, and his body was now giving off signs of, well, chaos. When Naruto fired his stakes, they started to glow. He jumped away as the explosions were massive. It didn't take too long for them to finish off all of these weak ninjas, as they regrouped with Haku, and they finally got the client home. More time passed after that, as they did several more missions. Meanwhile, at Konoha, the graduation team of this year had been placed on their different teams. However, we mainly focus on Team 7 with Sai, Sakura, and Sasuke. It has been a month of nothing but D ranks, and finally, it was time for them to do at C rank. So with that, they made their way off towards Land of Wave, unaware that a big discovery was going to be made. We then skip towards Zabuza. A few days earlier, he was speaking to someone, discussing about a possible job with a man known as Gato, as he heard what he had to do. Over the past few months, Haku had changed a lot, yes, for the better, as Naruto had made her more open, and she also seemed to take a liking to him. It was a good thing, given her usual bland behavior. So yes, it was a good thing. As we skip to the both of them sitting down, gazing over the village, she said that she was happy that he had decided to come with them, as things was a lot more fun with him around. As Naruto merely shrugged it off, he was okay either way, as Zabuza finally showed up. With Zabuza arriving, they made their way off. Naruto almost ended Gato when he made a comment about Haku. She stopped pretending to be a guy and she started to show that she was a female, and he made a comment that caused Naruto to almost took his head off, but Zabuza had stopped him just in time. However, Naruto warned him and scared the living crap out of him. So with that, Zabuza had sent the first two, that was Miyaizo and Gozu. However, Team 7 was quickly able to deal with them. Zabuza told Naruto that he needed to stay behind, but as usual, Naruto refused. That is when Zabuza came clean and told him that they were going up against Konoha. However, Naruto did not react how he should have. Well, how they expect him to. He simply did not care that much. He abandoned that village a long time ago. He never really knew anyone there except for the people that hated him. He had no friends, no family, so that village meant absolutely nothing to him. So with that, they made their way off. As both Naruto and Zabuza arrived on the area to see Team 7, turns out the man that they were, well, being held by was none other than the one, Kakashi Hatake. Haku stayed behind for a backup just in case, as both Naruto and Zabuza jumped into the fray. However, Sai was no normal genin as Naruto landed. The battle began shortly after as Sakura was told to take Kazuna and run by Sasuke. As the two took on Naruto, Kakashi cursed as his team was being taken on by someone more stronger than them at the moment, as he couldn't afford for them to die. So he kicked things up a notch to fight Zabuza with all of his might, as Naruto was attacked on both sides by Sai and Sasuke. A grin came on his face as two stakes came out of his hands. This was gonna be fun. So yeah guys, basically let's left off. You guys can switch across the playlist of yourself. Don't forget to go ahead and check out the other channels. Yes, I need a fourth of them which I post what fun every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and smash that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. And yeah, without further ado or wasting no more time, what do you say we jump right into this brand new episode? Begin now guys. Kakashi was not focusing on his fight with Zabuza. His gaze was glancing over towards his students, because they were facing someone that they were not ready for, and he was worried. Sakura had already moved away with the client, as Kakashi had to duck under a swipe. It was followed by a quick kick to his sternum, but he was able to pull back. Kunais in both of his hands, he twists and brought them up. Zabuza blade crashed on top of it. The ground buckle and crack underneath his feet from the amount of force that Zabuza drive down. You have bigger things to worry about. Besides, against him, your students won't last for much longer, said Zabuza, a taunting tone in his voice. Hearing that, the Sharingan in his eyes swirled. With an incredible amount of strength, he pushed the blade away. Zabuza was actually kicked straight towards the water as Kakashi trailed after him. He had to end this quickly or his students will not make it. Over to the other side, both Sai and Sasuke rushed forward. Sai reaching the target much faster as he swiped his tanto towards his throat. However, it was blocked by Naruto's spear. He then placed his other arm towards Sai's face. Sai ducked, seeing the disastrous effects of what that thing can do when it split through several trees. Sasuke arrived behind Naruto as he drive a kunai towards Naruto's back, intending on striking him down. However, Naruto spun, pushing Sai away in the process, before slamming a brutal elbow into Sasuke's chest. The Uchiha felt all the air knocked out of him. It felt like his heart even stopped for a moment as he tried to regain his balance and his breath. He was wide open as Naruto drove the stake toward his skull. However, something jumped in the path as Naruto saw that it was a strange animal. When his stake tear right through it, it exploded and ink flashed into Naruto's face. His eyes were momentarily stunned. That gave Sasuke the chance that he needed, as he had no chance to stab Naruto in the chest area because his arm would not reach. So he buried the kunai right into his shoulder. Naruto was temporarily blinded as he could not see a damn thing. The ink had went directly into his eye sockets. Sai, who had to pull out that secret technique of his, he kept on drawing as he created a snake. It flew at Naruto at blinding speed and wrapped around both of his arms, keeping them pinned to his side. "Kill him now!" It was a yell from Sai to Sasuke. Sasuke jumped back as he went through hand sign, intending on roasting his target alive. Fire style. Fireball jutsu. The fireball slammed right into Naruto. Yet, to their shock, he burst right out of it. But he still could not see a thing. Sai drew his tanto as he teared it across Naruto's back, intending on piercing right through him, but his skin was so damn tough. Sai was shocked as his tanto was not able to go further. Naruto felt the pain as he spun, knocking the tanto away. It was sent sailing in mid-air. Sai ducked though as he went under and slammed a brutal punch into Naruto's chin. Snapping his gaze up, he flipped over Naruto and kicked him in the back. As Naruto was being hit from different points, his eyes were out of commission, so his body did what it did best, it adapted. As Naruto could feel the vibrations, Sai's feet touched down on the ground. As he used his senses, his feeling senses of touch adapted beyond normal human levels. The radius that surrounded him he could feel where Sai landed. Sai saw his opportunity as he drew for a blade, intending on lodging it right in the opponent's heart. However, as he drew closer, Naruto grabbed his wrist, shocking Sai because the individual still had the ink in his eyes and he was sure that he could not see him. Naruto yanked him forward and slammed his skull into Sai's. Sai's whole body jostled at the force as he stepped back, feeling pain course through him from just the headbutt alone. Naruto stepped right into his chest. Sai was lifted off his feet and sent sailing into the forest. Sasuke was up in mid-air as he launched several kunai's explosive tags, line the bottom of each. However, as they got close to surrounding Naruto, he whipped out his hand and grabbed all of them. He tossed them back in the air with tremendous speed. Sasuke's eyes widened as he crossed both of his arms. Boom! He was blasted out of the sky and crashed into a tree, breaking it down. Naruto proceeded to make his way over towards a nearby lake as he opened his eye sockets and dunked his head into the water, flashing his face from left to right. When he opened back his eyes, the ink was gone. It wasn't any normal ink, it was infused with chakra, as his system started to burn the remainder out. As Naruto rolled his neck, Sai came walking back out of the forest, a bit hunched over in pain. Sasuke was not yet getting up. He had burn marks all over his arms and on his legs as well, as he was groaning in pain. Naruto created a stake and grabbed it. He aimed it towards Sai's skull as he pulled his hand back. Sai prepared himself until Naruto heard something. He turned his gaze as what he saw. It was Zabuza. Zabuza was hit by a torrent of water that slammed him right into a tree. Kakashi threw several kunais in the process, pinning him forward. If this wasn't Naruto before he bonded with them, he would have left Zabuza and not even turned his gaze towards him, but they've been through a lot for the past couple of months, and things are different now. Not to mention Zabuza had saved his life. He turned as he moved off with incredible speed. Kakashi was rushing forward as he felt a sense of danger. He jumped away just in time as Naruto's feet decimated the ground where his head would have been. Naruto would have simply stepped into his skull and crushed it. Kakashi was baffled at this individual's speed. However, when he saw his face, Kakashi was temporarily frozen. The name instantly came to mind. Naruto? Naruto took out two stakes and fired them towards the ground. He then jumped away as they went off. A blinding explosion swallowed the entire place, blocking his hearing, his sight. Everything. Kakashi could not see beyond it. However, when it finally cleared away, Kakashi turned his gaze towards his team before he had to look. If he was here, did that mean... He saw Sai picking up the injured Sasuke. He breathed a sigh of relief. He then realized, where's Sakura and the clients? They're safe, Sai said, as he released a breath that he did not know he was holding. Looking back over, Naruto and Zabuza was gone. He couldn't believe it. Of all the people that he expected to run into, that child, that was Naruto Uzumaki. How was that possible? A couple of years ago, Kakashi was the one on guard duty to watch over him. The child was a feisty one. He stopped taking shit from people. And the incident with him, going off and biting, tearing off one of the civilian faces. Kakashi heard about that, but he was not there. Usually he went and checked on the kid, because before he was born, he was the one protecting his mother. Special mission from Minato. The kid had been lost, and Kakashi felt like he was partly to blame for not speaking to the kid at all. He didn't have any friends or people there for him. The Hokage had not even introduced himself, as Naruto was still in the orphanage. But he was seen from time to time around the village before he headed back to the orphanage, something that he hated to do, so he waited until the last possible moment. But to find out that he was alive, after thinking that he's been killed for all these years, he felt like he had failed Minato and Kushina for not being there to watch over their son. But here he was, alive, with Zabuza of all people. How the hell did he end up in this situation, he thought to himself. However, he had no time for that. His body was so tired, he could no longer sense them. The Sharingan took too much out of him. He collapsed, exhausted. Time skip. When Kakashi finally came to, he was in the house of Kazuna. Well, he was unaware of that. He lied there, completely out of it, until Sakura came inside. The look on her face was one of pure relief and happiness. "Sensei, you're awake," she said. Meanwhile, as Naruto was sitting down, just looking at Zabuza, the man was looking everywhere except for Naruto. It was strange. Naruto would have chastised him for, well, losing to Kakashi. But through the entire way here, meeting up back with Haku, he had not said a single damn thing. And he was severely confused about that. Even Haku was a bit surprised. As she mended Zabuza's wounds, she had gotten a lot better at medical ninjutsu. However, Zabuza had sustained a lot of damage. He did not have a healing factor like Naruto, so it will take him a longer while to get back on his feet. He had several broken ribs from the force that the water had hit him with. He needed to bed rest for at least a week. Kakashi had hit him with two powerful water jutsu. First was a water dragon. The man was somehow able to do the jutsu that he was thinking of doing. It was that damn eye of his that blasted Sharingan. Once she was done mending his wounds, she glanced towards Naruto, who was oddly quiet, as this was unusual. Even Zabuza could not take it anymore. "Hey brat." As Naruto glanced towards him, "What's on your mind?" he asked, trying to get the blonde to speak up. "Well, I was thinking, as the both of them listen in. How much of a disappointment you are for getting beat by that idiotic ninja. Zabuza shook his head, knowing exactly that was coming, but it seems it came later than he thought. You know, this thing could have been done already, but I had to come in and save your ass. If it wasn't for me, you would be dead right now. I would be just fine besides. Haku was there. I wouldn't have died, he said. And yet you still got bested. If none of us were there, you would be dead right now, said Naruto. Must say, truly pathetic on your part. It was that damn eye of his, the Sharingan. It predicted my moves. Next time though, this will not happen. You make sure it don't, otherwise, me and Haku will run away and abandon you because you shamed us. Haku blinked that he brought her into this, saying that the both of them would run away. Not that she wanted to leave Zabuza after everything that he's done for her, but why did the thought of going with Naruto sound so happy for her? As she shook her head, keeping that out of her mind. Zabuza was surprised that Naruto was letting him off easy though. Usually they argue for a long while. Letting me off the hook, he said, as Naruto paused at the entrance. You saved my life, I save yours. Just don't screw up and almost get yourself killed next time. With that, Naruto made his way. As Haku finally spoke up, I think, he's warming up to you, Zabuza-sama. As if I asked for anything like that, Zabuza said. As he tried to move. You shouldn't move. You need as much rest as possible. I estimate you being in bed for about a week, she said. That made him frown as he would be out of commission for so long. He glanced towards Haku. Make sure the brat doesn't do anything stupid like go after them himself. He's strong, but if he fought all of them at once, especially with Kakashi there, he will die. Go on ahead. I'll just rest up. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm fine. Go on, Haku, he said. She nodded her head. However, Zabuza knew that she wanted to go with Naruto and just spend time with him. The both of them seemed to be always happy together, and as much as the past had been rather dreadful, he see Haku as a daughter. Yes, and he wanted to make sure that she was happy. And not to mention, the brat had somehow make him start to care for him over the past couple of months. The thought of him dying actually concerned him a bit. In the beginning, he wouldn't have cared, but things have changed. As with that, he decided to get some rest, so they can hurry up and complete this mission and get the hell out of here. Moments later, Haku found Naruto as he was sitting by himself, up in a tree. As she made her way up there as well, and sat down next to him. Is something wrong, she asked. I'm fine, said Naruto. Come on now, she said. I can tell that something is wrong. What is it, she asked him. He looked towards her for a long minute. He then finally spoke. I saved Zabuza's life, he said. Yeah, she asked, not understanding what he was trying to say. I could have ended this mission and get rid of the target, but yet I saved his life. Usually, I would have gone straight through to ending the mission and just getting this over with. But I felt this strange sensation when I thought that he was going to die. And now it's strange. The thought of you or Zabuza dying is really bothering and upsetting me. Haku started to laugh. Naruto looked towards her confused. I'm sorry, she said, it's just... Well, that means you care about us. What? Said Naruto. Well, when someone cares about another, the thought of losing them is actually very frightening. As Naruto looked towards her oddly, she reached out as she placed a hand on his. But that's a good thing. We're friends now. We're partners. We work together. And we have each other back. And we also save one another. Naruto looked away. He's not used to such kind of emotions. He's been raised in a terrible environment where everyone hates him. And he never gave a damn about anyone but himself. But now he found himself worrying about these people. It was an odd and strange feeling. Yes, it was. As he looked down towards Haku's hand that she placed on his. And he did not try to remove his hand, he just allowed it to be there. Time skip. Once Kakashi got back on his feet, he started training his genins, as he needed them to be ready for what is going to come. They needed to be stronger. He needed to up their training, focusing on all of them. As he went on the tree, walking exercise, Sai was already aware of this. Kakashi didn't have the full information, but Hiruzen told him that Sai had been formally trained. But he did not have a team, so he knew a thing or two. Kakashi was grateful that Sai was there, otherwise he might have lost Sasuke and Sakura and the client as well. So with that, Sai had something else to work on. While he trained the other two in tree walking, Sakura was incredible. With her low chakra reserve, she was able to get it right away. However, her reserves were too low. A way to advance this was exercising, training, reducing your chakra down and letting it build back up, and trying to push the limits of your chakra flow. So that is exactly what Sakura did. While Sasuke had to work harder. It pissed him off that he did not get it right away. His anger, his need to be better than everyone else, started to act up really bad. However, he kept on working, and by night, he had it down. However, he passed out almost instantly. He's been using a little bit of chakra, but yet, using so much despite the amount of time, can really sap almost all of your energy. As he simply collapsed face first after it was done. Days flew by, as both individuals were getting stronger and getting better. Things were returning back to normal. Kakashi had sent for aid from the Hidden Leaf village. He had sent for Pakon the moment that they had arrived in a situation where he had been badly roughed up because of overusing the Sharingan. He sent word back to Hiruzen about what he had found, and he needed help to bring Naruto back home. He had no idea why he was with Zabuza or what was going on, but he needed to bring him back. So help was on the way. The week went by, and they arrived. The help that Hiruzen could spare. However, with the numbers, he had no doubt in his mind that Kakashi would return with Naruto, along with this new help that he sent for backup. Everyone else was out on missions and he could not afford to send out majority of the Leaf Ninjas. Some of them were on standby. Meanwhile, it was finally time. Kakashi predicted that Zabuza would not be down for much longer. His two techniques did quite the number on him, and he would have died if Naruto had not intervened. So he had to be ready. So with that, the team had left, as all of them decided to make their way towards the bridge. When they got there though, there was a thick mist rolling in. The setting was off. Something's wrong, Sakura said, as she felt a frightening sensation just by getting close to the bridge. Something was definitely off. Kakashi was on high alert. Sasuke was ready. As they prepared themselves, getting deeper on the bridge, they heard a voice. It seems it's time for round 2. Huh, Kakashi? The mist cleared away as Zabuza stepped forward. This time though, Naruto was right beside him. Kakashi looked towards Naruto as he spoke. Naruto, he said. The team was confused because Kakashi had not told them anything. As they looked towards him, wait, Sensei, you know that guy? Sasuke asks. Naruto blinked as he looked towards the man. Who are you? He asks. You don't know me, but I'm a ninja of the Hidden Leaf, as you can see. And you are Naruto Uzumaki, are you not? And what if I am, said Naruto. All this time you ran away and went with Zabuza. Of course not, said Naruto. This is a recent partnership, but that doesn't concern you. I am not a shinobi or part of your hidden leaf village. My name is Naruto, yes. However, don't bring me in with your stupid leaf ninja bullshit, said Naruto. Why did you run away, Kakashi asked. Fleeing from your home. Naruto scoffed. Home? That is what you call a home? I'm done with this bullshit. Let's just kill them already. Unfortunately, I can't allow you to do that. Haku quickly leaped on the bridge, as she had been underneath using chakra to stick to it. It's a trap, she said. She had been seen by the other team that was coming with them. It was none other than Team 8. Hinata had spotted her out with her Byakugan, and Kurnai had tried to place her under a genjutsu. It was a good thing that she saw the team leader before she saw her. She had been scouting the area using her mirrors, and she found them. Reinforcements, as Kiba and Akamaru arrive on said bridge. However, Naruto scoffed. You call that reinforcements? Doesn't matter, he said, cracking his neck. As he looked towards Zabuza. You ready, he asked. By all means, Zabuza said. As Naruto leaped forward, he fired 3 stakes. They dodged as they split the group apart. Haku was attacked by both Sasuke and Sai, as Naruto went after the others. However, the moment he touched down, bugs appeared. Naruto leaped away from them. A few of them though attached themselves to him. As he looked around, however, he felt the vibrations and the movements over his body. Bad thing for them though, Naruto's body started to get incredibly hot. The screams of the dying insects could be heard as they fell to the ground. Shino was surprised by that. That is when Naruto heard Fang over Fang, as he turned to see 2 spinning balls of death rushing towards him. Both Kiba and Akamaru coming after him. While that was going on, Kurnai and Kakashi went after Zabuza, as Naruto jumped out of the way. When he landed though, bugs once again reappeared. Having enough of this bullshit, Naruto held his hand out, as electricity started to cackle around him. He then started to fire all around, direction of Kiba and Shino. Both of them start to jump back away, as the ground started to be dented and cracked. If they got hit by that, they were screwed. Hinata was watching the client, as Sakura was there as well in front of him. Hinata had several kunas and shurikens, ready to stop anyone from getting too close. Her Byakugan on full display. Naruto ran head first right into Kiba. Kiba made the mistake of thinking that he could take Naruto as Akamaru leaped over Naruto's head, intending on taking him down from behind. However, Kiba felt the force slammed into him. It was like a train. He winced in pain as Naruto shoved him away. He then spun around and caught the puppy in mid-air and slammed him into the bridge. Akamaru cried out as Kiba raged. He spun violently towards Naruto. This time though, Naruto did not jump. He shoved both of his hands out right into the ball of spinning death. As he grabbed Kiba in his spinning motion, the bridge cracked under the force as Naruto held him. He yanked Kiba so hard before planting him face first into the bridge. Kiba's scratches did not even tear his skin that badly. Kiba tried to get up as Naruto slammed his knee into his nose, shattering it. He was about to backhand Kiba until several kunais rained down towards him. He deflected all of them as he looked up towards a girl. He saw her eyes looking at him. He rushed towards her, leaping over Kiba. But before he could reach her though, bugs appeared in front of him, stop him in his path. They then split apart as 2 kunais slammed right into his chest. They exploded on contact. The explosive tags at the end of them. The group looked forward that had to have taken him down. However, when the smoke cleared, he's not there, Shino yelled, his bugs finding no sense of Naruto. Hinata looked past the chakra that was there. The momentary lapse in her vision cost her as he was gone. She looked around trying to find him. Underneath you, Shino, she yelled. Shino looked down as the ground cracked. Naruto burst out of it and stabbed right into the chest of Shino. However, Shino turned into pure bugs that wrapped around Naruto. They tried to suck his chakra. Feeling the sensation, Naruto smirked. If they want to have it, fine. Take it. He released his chakra. However, it was so hot, the flames inside of him from its explosive spears. Bugs started to cry as their bodies could not contain. The heat was too much for them as they were being fried alive. All the remainders had to rush towards the real Shino to recuperate inside of him. That was a mistake though, as Naruto leaped toward the tree and shattered it into pieces. Shino, who was hiding behind it, stepped away. Shino was good with his bugs, however. In hand-to-hand combat, he stood no chance. Hinata was told to go by Sakura. Kiba was not back on his feet just yet. Hinata appeared as Shino was being manhandled and knocked around, as Naruto created a stake to drive right through his chest. Naruto turned as Hinata brought her hands up. She struck him 2 times in the stomach and once in the shoulder, but to her shock nothing happened. She did not close his points. Naruto's body outer shell was so strong that it was hard to reach his chakra points, with her chakra piercing his body. That cost her as she was confused. Everything went dizzy for her as she was hit. One hit was able to send her sailing through a tree as she felt pain. Now that these two were out, Naruto rushed after the others, making his way. Zabuza had said that there was no need to kill them, and he was right. Despite Naruto hating that village, these were just a bunch of kids pretending to be ninjas. The client was now in full display, and it was time for him to end him. Sakura was trembling in fear as Naruto was coming towards her, 2 kunais in hand. However, the next moment he suddenly stopped, standing there like something was wrong. Sakura was confused. Was this some kind of joke? That is when she saw Kurenai. Don't worry, I got him, Kurenai said, as she had placed Naruto under a genjutsu. He was lost in his own mind right now, leaving his body completely vulnerable. She pulled out a kunai and held it in her left hand just in case. She was going to knock him out. Kakashi had filled her in on the situation. Kakashi said that he had Zabuza. Naruto was a bigger threat than he thought, and he needed to be stopped by someone like her, otherwise he might just end up killing the others. Kiba quickly regrouped with Sakura as Kurenai told him to stay there to protect the client. She was all alone with Naruto. She was about to knock him out as she raised her hand. She brought it down. He grabbed her wrist. She was shocked as his gaze looked up towards her. Nice trick, said Naruto. Feel mine. Kurenai screamed out as Naruto sent electricity from his hand into her body. She screamed out in bloody murder. Hinata was able to get back on her feet as she rushed forward to save her sensei. Kiba did not listen to orders as he leaped forward, spinning once more. However, Naruto jumped away as Kurenai collapsed face first. Kiba stopped his spinning as he checked his sensei pulse. She was alive, but her pulse was faint. As Naruto looked at all of them, none of you stand a chance, he said. Now, it's time that Naruto heard cackling. It was like 1,000 birds, cackling amongst one another. However, he felt the chakra. Something was wrong. He vanished. As for Haku, Sasuke was panting on the ground. Sai was on his feet. Sasuke had several needles, not to mention his Sharingan no activated. The needles were puncturing his body all over. Sai was still on his feet, as he was a greater warrior than the Uchiha at the moment. However, she heard it. Haku heard it. Her loyalty to the man that saved her and gave her an opportunity to live on kicked in. She had to go and save Zabuza-sama, as she quickly made her way using a mirror, leaving the two behind. Sasuke collapsed once she was gone as he was exhausted from the overuse of the Sharingan and his exhausted body. She came out of the mirror, unaware of what was truly going on, unaware that the technique was so powerful and Kakashi was so fast. Kakashi was already going forward to end Zabuza. As strong as Zabuza was, Kakashi seemed to have the edge. Zabuza was pinned up by dogs biting into his flesh. Once again he screwed up. Kakashi was stronger than him though. The brat warned him not to get himself killed or anything, and yet he saw Haku came in the way. He shouted at her to move. But it was too late. She just moved her body, reacted on instinct to protect him, never knowing that it would lead to her death. However, she was not going to die today. Her hand was grabbed. She was thrown out of the way as she slammed into the side of the bridge. She winced in pain, wondering who was fast enough to reach her in time. Kakashi was stunned himself as his hand was protruding through the individual's back. It was Naruto's. He had destroyed Naruto's heart, going right through it. Blood escaped Naruto's lips as his eyes that were about to close glanced over towards Haku. He was unable to say a word. Kakashi pulled his hand back as Naruto collapsed right in front of him. There was no movement, no pulse. No. Haku said, forgetting everything as she rushed towards him. She flipped him over. Kakashi stepped back. Get up. Get up, she said. He's been through a lot. He's been blown up. He's been sliced and poisoned. And he always get back up. This is not the end of you. Get up, she said. Tears pooling down her face. Even Zabuza, despite the situation with the dogs biting into him, poof, they were gone. Zabuza felt his knees wobble as he looked towards the kid with a giant hole where his heart was supposed to be. Despite everything, she screamed at him to get up, crying and screaming, begging for him to get up. Kakashi himself looked towards his hand that was covered in blood. An image flashed into his mind of a young girl. Kakashi, she said. His hand started to tremble. His body started to withdraw upon itself as he stepped away. That is when they heard, well. Looky what we have here. The remainder of Team 8 arrived as Kurunai gasped when she saw the gaping hole in Naruto's chest and saw Kakashi's hand. A few blood splatter had fallen on him and his hand as well. She did not say anything as Gato arrived with a lot of men, but he wasn't alone though. One of the men stepped forward holding onto Iniri! Tsunami! Tazuna cried out as he saw his daughter and his grandson. They had taken them from the house. Tazuna clenched his fist as Sakura stopped him from doing something stupid. Gato simply laughed as Iniri was unconscious. He seemed to have been roughed up a bit. Tsunami was also out. Tear marked down her face like she had been crying. Tazuna was pissed off as Gato laughed. Huh, what do you know? That little shit is dead, Gato said. He almost tried to kill me, so he deserved that. Haku snapped her gaze towards him. Don't look at me like that. I said what I said. But it doesn't matter. Zabuza, I won't be paying you. You seem awfully weak and pathetic. I guess I hired the wrong man. Ninjas, a piece of wasteful tool as always. So instead, I'm just gonna have them kill you all. So you know what to do, boys. Keep the girls alive though. We can find some use for them, he said with a chuckle, as Haku tears fell into Naruto's gaping wound. His body had already grown cold. Something was wrong. Meanwhile, Naruto was floating as he looked over towards the fox. Hey, he said. The fox looked towards him. Always getting yourself in these kinds of situations. Always trying to get yourself killed or what? I had to do something. She was going to die. I wouldn't allow something like that. Tuh. Despite everything that has happened so far, you are still human. Emotions cloud your judgment. Enough of your stupid rambling, said Naruto. I'm dead, so what does it matter? And who said you were dead? Naruto blinked as he looked towards the fox. That thing. It tear right through my heart. My body is strong enough to take blades that are not enhanced fully by wind chakra. I can take explosions, but that technique was extremely powerful. And my heart was destroyed. I felt it. Yes, it was. Wait, are you gonna heal me? Said Naruto. I told you already. My chakra doesn't work on you. Your body wouldn't allow it. Then what? Why are you so calm and why am I not dead? Said Naruto. Because even if my chakra won't heal you, your body might feel human emotions, but trust me, it's far from only being a human. Naruto blinked. What do you mean by that? Remember who you are. Remember the people around you. Remember those you care about. Otherwise, you might just end up killing them all. What are you talking about? Naruto did not get a chance to get his question answered as redness filled his vision. Even after destroying his heart, that would not kill him. Yes, he could die, but even after the destruction of his heart, it did not kill him. Instead, it brought him back stronger. However, it brought him back momentarily in rage. His normal mind function had been subdued because of his heart being destroyed. It was still being reformed, but yet he screamed. In the real world, a bloodthirsty scream split the skies. Every single member stepped back in fear except for Haku. Zabuza quickly grabbed her. He had to, as Naruto's body grew in size. The bridge was ripped and torn. His skin got strange claws all over it. Zabuza was not even sure how to define them. It was like the stakes that he had, but now they were all over his skin. His pants ripped and torn as Naruto grew in size. He got on his feet and screamed to the heavens, more like an animalistic roar. He was no longer the Naruto that they knew. Even his hair had been shaved off. It was no longer there. His body had put on at least 300 or 400 pounds of muscle, and those strange spikes coming from all over. His head was covered by a strange bone helmet. The material seemed to be bone. His eyes were not shown, but yet he could see somehow. He no longer had normal looking teeth. They looked like jagged, monstrous teeth. Spikes came out of his shoulders. His nails were like claws as his toenails dug into the ground. He roared once again. He didn't even seem to be human as he had no genitalia. He just was a beast of death. The first thing that he saw was Gato and his group. He then ran straight towards them. Gato shouted to his man to get him, but they were so petrified. The first one that made the mistake of swinging his club got his head torn clean off. What followed was a massacre. The body of Iniri and Tsunami was luckily on the ground as he leaped over them, not even paying them any attention. He was going after all the ones moving around. Everyone stood there in shock and confusion, not understanding what is truly going on. Zabuza and Haku couldn't believe it themselves. Kakashi saw the opportunity as he signaled towards Kunai, who signaled towards Shino. Shino quickly used his bugs that he had remaining to lift the two individuals and brought them closer, that being the family of the bridge builder. As Kiba stood there absolutely freaked out at what the hell was going on, everyone watched the scene in front of them. The massacre was done in a matter of minutes. Sakura threw up at all the blood and gore. Hinata was shaking in fear as the beast turned its rage upon them and roared. Haku was being held back by Zabuza until she pushed his hand away. Naruto, she yelled. Stop, Haku! Zabuza yelled towards her. But it was too late as she stood in front of the behemoth. You won't hurt me, she said. You know who I am. You recognize me, don't you? His hand reached out towards her before he grabbed her by the throat. She started to struggle, but she placed her hands on his. Snap out of it. Don't do this, she yelled towards him. Hey, brat, don't you dare hurt her. And snap out of this. I thought you said you wanted to do your own thing. You going mindless and killing everyone is definitely not your own thing. It's just your sick, twisted rage. So as I said, snap the hell out of this. Naruto, Haku said, as she was starting to fade, but yet her hands were still on his, not trying to defend herself. As she felt the strange claws over his body pressing against hers, one movement and she would be dead. The grip then lessened. She fell out of his hand, showing the size that he was at the moment. His body started to shrink back into its smaller form. Zabuza, seeing this, pushed himself up, dragging his blade and himself over towards the group. As Naruto stood there on his feet, his eyes were shut. He fell. Zabuza caught him. Haku checked on him. He's alright. He's alive, she said in pure joy as he started to stir. Zabuza then heard something. I'm afraid he's gonna have to come with us, Kakashi said, as he had snapped out of what just happened now that he saw that Naruto was alive. He's not going anywhere with any of you. In the condition you're in, you can't exactly do anything to stop us, Kakashi said firmly. And as I said, he's returning back with us to the Hidden Leaf. Well then, you're gonna have to go through me. And me, Haku said. Before they could argue anymore, a stake hit the bridge, as Naruto was awake, and his appearance was different than before. It started to glow. Move, Kakashi yelled. Boom! A violent explosion blew up the bridge. The section that it hit, as it fell into the water. That gave the team enough time to run. Yes, they ran out of there, as Naruto fired two more to block their escape, damaging the bridge that will take a longer time to fix, but he did not care one bit. As they ran, Zabuza ran because Naruto's body was unable to completely function properly. They ran across the blood and gore Haku using her ice to create a bridge for them. Despite being low on chakra after what she just did, she was sweating and trembling. By the time they got to land, she also passed out as well, giving it her all. Zabuza picked her up. Despite his weak and bloody state, he fought through it and ran off with the both of them, leaving Team 7 and Team 8 at a loss on what they just witnessed and the loss of Naruto. Time skip. The bridge took a very long time to rebuild. The 2-3 explosions that had the other parts fallen into the water was a huge setback for them. However, with the group there for help, they were able to get it done. Kakashi had to explain to the others who was the guy trying to kill them, and why did he talk to him like he knew him. None of them really knew Naruto. They haven't heard anything about him either, because if the villagers spoke, they always said demon spawn or demon, so the kids would not know, and Kakashi did not tell them about the 9 tails. So Kiba saw him as just a missing nin that deserved to pay for what he did to them. But Kiba couldn't believe it that he was able to best all of them that easily. How was he so stronger and they were the same age? Sasuke was happy because he awakened his Sharingan. Sai had a lot to report to his master. The Jinchuriki was out there. Yes. And they could rescue and claim it as their own. Yes, they could. So yes, he had a lot to explain. It did not take too long after they were finished that they were able to go home. The bridge was built. The people were safe. So they were happy with Team 7 and 8. Yes, they were incredibly happy with them. Meanwhile, Zabuza and Naruto and Haku had healed up rather quickly. Yes, because it has been a month or so since Team 7 and 8 has been helping with the bridge. Naruto was different than before. His body was larger and even grew in height. He had no idea what happened to him and why he went berserk like that. However, he was fully functional once again. It was almost like he was truly unkillable. The fox had not told him anything about what happened, or if he knew something he would not elaborate. Just like how he was helping Naruto for no reason. He must knew something but he would not tell him. However, they were okay and alive. That little moment, it bonded the three of them. Zabuza almost died twice now. And this time Haku was gonna die for him and Naruto was going to die for Haku. It just showed how deeper their friendship and partnership was. So with that they continue. Once they were fully healed, they simply move on to something else. They were the only ones that knew where Gato Mansion was. So they had some time to spare. Once they raided it, they got a buttload of money. So they wouldn't have to do any more jobs for some time now. However, they didn't just like to do nothing, as Naruto wanted to get stronger. Even though spending time with his new companions was a lot more fun than before. And him and Zabuza still argue like usual though. However, soon enough there will be a big change. At Konoha, Hiruzen was disappointed to hear that the team had came across Naruto and they were unable to bring him back. Even with the amount of manpower that they had, they failed. He was disappointed, but this means that Naruto was out there and alive and well. However, it seems like he has great animosity to Konoha. Hiruzen would have to fix that. But now they had a genuine fix on who he was traveling with and what he looked like now after his change. Hiruzen was freaked out when he heard about what Kakashi and Kurna described that Naruto turned into. He wondered if this was a side effect of the fox inside of him. He had no earthly idea. However, he just hoped that they were able to find him and bring him back. He felt like he had failed Minato and Kushina big time. If he passed on to the other life, what was he going to tell them? Kakashi was the same as well. He thought that he had killed Naruto and it shook him up a bit. But he was a man that hid his emotions quite well. So with that, things returned back to normal. But the hunt was now out there for Naruto. However, Sai had told his master every single thing. Danzo was surprised. Yes, he was rather surprised to hear this. He didn't expect it in the slightest. He thought that his chance of having a Jinchuriki was gone. He thought that he had failed. When the boy had went missing from the village and he could not be found. But it seems that luck was on his side. And now he knew the boy was out there, alive. He would not stop until he had the tail beast under his control. Time skip. A month and a half later, it was a peaceful day in Konoha. Everything was normal. The sun was shining, the birds were chirping, ninjas went about their business. At the gate of the village, Izumo and Kitetsu were just relaxing. It wasn't a busy day. They haven't seen anyone so far, so they were just kicking back and relaxing, watching things go by. As the both of them started to play cards, that is when they saw something running towards the village. Running. The both of them got out of the boot, ready to intercept whatever this was. The thing though started to slow down. That is when it collapsed. There was someone on its back. Izumo and Kitetsu quickly moved towards to see that it was two teens. Yes, it was two teens. One of them, blonde hair, with whisker marks. The other one was a female on his back. She had several scratch and scrapes and wounds covering her body. The boy had much deeper wounds. Not to mention, he had strange purple marks over his body. What seems like poison. Izumo and Kitetsu looked at each other. The blonde, with whisker marks, seemed so familiar, and they weren't sure why. However, they need to help them. It was two teenagers, for God's sake, they need to get them some help. They were unaware that was none other than Naruto and Haku. And Zabuza was not with them. Something truly dreadful has happened. Something so dreadful that Naruto was forced to come to Konoha. What could it be? You guys will have to find out the next episode because I'm going to be in this episode right here. If you want the next part to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, turn on that bell notification, stay posted. Remember to share all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other what ifs of the other channels. I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. But I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.